Here at Villa 81, we like to review every kind of gizmo, including gadgets for cars. But what happens if the gadget is the car? Say hello to the Revai Electric City Car. Now, unfortunately, I don't drive. But luckily here, we have our own tame motoring journalist. Some say his ribcage is made of carbon fibre, and that going over Niagara Falls in a barrel is fun to him. We just know him as the Steve. Steve?
Oh, sorry. What we have here is the Revai Electric City Car. It's built in India, it runs on household electricity, and as you can see, it's very, very small. So enough messing about, let's go for a drive and see what it's like. The Revai started with a key like any normal car, but when you switch it on, it's completely silent. To get going, I release this somewhat awkward handbrake, put the gear selector into forward, and lift my foot off the foot brake. Here goes. The first thing to know about the Revai is it's slow, extremely slow. It accelerates at a snail's pace, and although the manufacturer claims a top speed of 50 miles an hour, I reckon you need a steep hill, a good tailwind, and plenty of clear road to achieve this. The most we've seen from it is about 40, and that's even with the boost button engaged. Now this isn't necessarily a problem, it is a city car after all, and it can keep pace with urban traffic most of the time. However, it's not completely silent when you're running. As you might be able to hear, there's a fair whine from the motor behind me as we move along. And also, this thin bodywork doesn't provide much insulation from the sound of the outside world. Maximum range with the standard lead acid batteries is around 50 miles. But as soon as you start using the lights, radio or heater, that number comes down. The car takes 8 hours to charge fully, but can be charged to 80% of its capacity in just 2.5 hours. But it's when you go to charge the car that one of the main flaws in the concept becomes apparent. People living in houses often have access to outside power sockets. Apartment dwellers, whose parking spaces may not be right next to their home, do not. This is a shame because many of the young urbanites this car is meant to appeal to will live in complexes like this. At this stage you're probably wondering how much it costs. Well, Green Air, the Irish distributor, currently has them on special offer for a little under €10,000. Now as you might expect, most of your cash goes towards the sophisticated electronic drivetrain, which means they've really had to skimp everywhere else. The dashboard is made of cheap plastic, the seat is little more than some plastic padding on a bench, and the windows, they open like this. It's not surprising then that the Revai isn't the most comfortable thing I've ever driven. The pedals aren't directly in front of my feet, meaning I have to twist my body slightly to use them, and the seats offer no side support whatsoever. Despite this, the Revai would be a good choice for short journeys, were it not for one thing. Oh, Jesus. The suspension is terrible. The slightest bumper pothole jolts the passenger and the car violently. And while this mightn't be such an issue on the continent, on Ireland's fantastic road network, it's a big drawback. So, is there anything we can recommend the Revai for? Well yes, the running costs for one. The thing is absurdly cheap to run. Green Air has calculated that you'd save over €6,000 in 3 years compared to a conventional 1.4 litre petrol car. It costs less than €1 to fully recharge overnight, so there's no fear that you'll be confusing the final amount on your electricity bill with the ESB's phone number. Road tax is only €46 a year, and insurance costs will be rock bottom as well. So there you have it. While the Revai is an impressive piece of technology, it's still a little rough around the edges compared to a normal car. I'm giving it 6 out of 10. For Villa 81, I'm Stephen Errity.